Hi, this is Ned Siegfried from Siegfried Jensen. As proud sponsors of BeliefCast, we hope you are inspired by Todd's weekly podcasts, which contain so many courageous stories of recovery and personal growth. Remember, it's not what happened in the past that matters, it's what happens in the future. We invite you all to work hard and be optimistic about your future. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires BeliefCast. Thank you once again for tuning in. I mean, isn't this amazing, the guests we have on this show? It blows my mind. I'm just so grateful for the people who are willing to come here and be vulnerable and share their struggles and share their triumphs. It's beautiful, and your guys' support has made this possible. I'd like to get a shout out to our sponsors, Siegfried Jensen, Wasatch Recovery, iHeal Institute, and Veracity Networks. Thanks for believing in me. And because of your support, you're allowing this to get out to many more ears to hear these amazing stories. And, you know, we've had some amazing guests on, and today's going to be no different. I say that all the time, but I'm not kidding you. It's like week after week. And today we are joined by Travis Whittaker. Travis, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Todd, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Over 12 years clean and sober. Yeah, congratulations.
12 years. My sobriety date. I'll have 13 years on 4/20.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. I love that. Well, a little background on Travis. Like we said, he's been sober over 12 years, coming up on his 13th year. He's the father to 3 amazing kids. He's been married to his beautiful wife for 27 years. That's an accomplishment right there, too. That's beautiful.
I'll tell you, she's a saint.
She's a saint.
She's a saint.
Yeah. So a little bit more. Travis has worked in the treatment industry for over 8 years in a variety of different positions with treatment facilities all across the country. Besides his new role currently as president of business development at Wasatch Recovery, he is also a nationally certified interventionist. And we're going to talk more about that. I can't wait to have our listeners learn more about what that is. Travis runs a popular Facebook page called Car Talk with Travis. He and his guests share inspirational messages, and I've watched those. They're funny, but then they're real, and then they're inspiring, and then you cry in one moment, and then it's awesome. I love how it's so real. And then you're also board member of 10,000 Beds, a nonprofit organization who provides scholarships to addicts without the means to pay for treatment. And again, we're going to talk a lot more about these things, but again, thanks for joining us, Travis. So why don't we start with, where did you grow up, and tell us a little bit about your family?
Yeah, I grew up in West Point, Utah.
Okay.
Went to Clearfield High.
Clearfield.
So, yeah. Back in the day, Falcons.
The Falcons, yes.
Yeah, I grew up out there, and it was just a different time. As you know, we did a lot of riding bikes and a lot of sports and a lot of farm work, and so it was a good way to get a solid foundation growing up.
Yeah.
I had really good friends. I think I suffered from a lot of childhood trauma that led into my adult addiction.
Okay.
And a lot of that was based off of, my mom was married several times, alcoholic guys, man in and out of the house, and so I'd get in fights with them. And it just, growing up like that, you almost, when you're that age and you're in that position, you almost think that it's just normal.
Yeah, because you don't know any different.
No.
Right?
Yeah,
It's just been your...
Yeah. I didn't know it was going to affect me when I got older and got married and had kids, And, my real father, basketball player, he was a big guy, 6'9", 300 pounds. He gave me up for adoption when I was 4 to my mom's new husband.
Okay.
And then, I had a complete name change, and he actually gave me, I say sold me. I use that word because he took $4,000 for me and was gone.
Oh, wow.
And so, I was born Carter, and then my last name was changed to Nunley, and now it's Whittaker because I changed it when I got married.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't going to carry that name on.
So that's heavy stuff you just shared right there. So, did you feel that weight of that? Did you feel sad as a kid growing up knowing this, or did it come later? Did it affect you at all when you were going through it at the moment?
It did. It bothered me a lot because you would see other families and it was different. Like I was home alone by myself, pretty much raising myself, doing all the yard work and doing everything. And I'm an only child, So, but I had good friends that took me in and my best friend Matt, and his parents took me in. His dad was our basketball coach. He was there.
Okay.
So I had that father figure there,
Mm-hmm.
which is I'm extremely grateful for,
I bet.
and
Yeah.
still very close to my family now. Like him and I have been friends, I think about 40 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's beautiful. It's great that people step up, right, when you need it the most.
absolutely.
Yeah. But again, very tough as a child going through, watching your mom go through relationships and,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to fight for, you're like the man of the house as a young kid trying to figure things out.
Yeah, and a lot of alcohol. Back
Okay.
then, when my stepdad, it was normal to be drinking a Coors and driving.
Right.
That's in the 80s. It's
No
no
open
seat
containers
belt.
didn't matter. Yeah. No seat belts. Yeah. I
it's
remember
just-
those days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a different time.
Now you can't ride in the back of a pickup truck or you get arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did I do wrong? You
Yeah.
can't ride back there.
Yeah, or your dogs can't
Yeah.
ride. Dogs can't ride back there either.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting times. So, I know you got an amazing story. You've shared a lot. You've helped thousands and thousands of people with just because of what you've been through, which is fantastic. That's why I love having people who have been through something like what you've been through to come share. So did you start, drinking yourself at a young age? Maybe start from there and then kind of just share how this led into your addiction and where that led you.
I didn't.
Really?
No. I
Interesting.
saw so much with alcohol. I told myself I just not even interested.
Okay.
So I went the other direction. I was all sports: soccer, baseball, and basketball.
Yeah.
I was a really good baseball player, and then one summer I grew like 6 inches.
Oh, wow.
And so I went more one direction to basketball.
Basketball. Okay.
And that was, I like to tell people, I always felt like everything I got attached to or that I loved left my life. So
Yeah.
if I got somebody that I liked, they were gone. If my mom had somebody, they were gone. I just always felt like that, She had 3 jobs. She was always gone. Basketball, the way I tell people, the attachment I had, you dribble it, it comes back.
Oh, wow.
You dribble
Yeah.
it, it comes back. So it was one part of my life that I could always focus on no matter where I was at in a mental state. I would go to the park, play basketball. And it was my outlet, and it became to where that's all I ever did.
Yeah.
I just played basketball.
Yeah, I can relate with that. Basketball was my passion growing up as
Yeah.
well, and yeah, when I'd step on that court, it's just you kind of could leave some of your problems behind, and yeah, it felt like a good old friend, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
felt like you get that, I would say just euphoric feeling
Yeah,
when you hit a 3 or you do
Oh, yeah.
whatever, and you're just
Yeah.
like, and it helped me, I think, just mature.
Sure.
As a man,
Yeah.
it was a good thing for me.
yeah. You learn a lot of life lessons playing sports.
Yeah.
Confidence, believing in yourself, that kind of thing. Adversity, how do you handle it? That
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And so you go through high school doing these things. So what led to your addiction, and what maybe start there and kind of what happened, and again, your story is incredible, and I'm just I want you to tell it, obviously.
So I moved from West Point after I graduated in '89. And moved out to Salt Lake, and still just playing basketball, trying to find my way. Got a job, right about time I turned 21, I believe I was playing in a church, because I had friends, always had friends had keys, and
Right, yeah.
that's always where you seem to get hurt.
Isn't that true? Yeah,
Playing church ball.
playing church ball, the brawl that starts with a prayer.
Right. So I was on a fast break going up for a dunk, and a kid that just didn't have a lot of coordination
Yeah.
took my legs out. I landed on my tailbone, and I fractured my L4, L5
Oh,
discs.
wow.
And my friends thought I blew my knee out, but it was my back they heard that pop sound from.
Oh, jeez.
But I just dealt with it for a few years after, too. Ibuprofen, I continued to play, tried to stretch. It was just that all the time, like soreness,
Yeah.
just deep tissue. It just hurt really bad all the time.
Yeah. Wow.
And during that time, I was playing in the Pro-Am leagues here, and I had an opportunity to go play for the Yakima Sun Kings, which was a developmental team back in the day,
Yeah.
for the CBA. And so that was floating around, and I had just met my wife, right? And still playing ball, doing all this other stuff,
Yeah.
really not knowing the direction I should be going.
Yeah. Right.
And during those times, I think I drank a few times here or there with friends. It was something that I was very cautious about
yeah.
with the alcohol growing up. I did not want it to,
Right.
come into my life and take over. So about the age of 22, we get married, and my beautiful wife has insurance. So I'm like, this pain is just getting out of control.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the doctor, and the doctor says, let's do this. Let me give you some Lortab. We'll give you, take 2 every 4 hours. It should help with the pain. I'm like, okay. And sure enough, it's helping, right?
Yeah.
But then the issue is I go back, I need more. And then it's 4 a day.
Yeah.
And then it's 6 a day. And then, during those times I'm playing basketball, we get pregnant, I thought my dreams were to go on and play pro basketball and do all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Probably wasn't good enough, but that was my dream.
Yeah, sure.
So that was what I thought I was meant to do. That was my identity all growing up.
Yeah.
So go to the doctor to get on the pills. My wife, we become pregnant. And then I realized, you know what? I've got to find a good job. And we start building a house and all this stuff. And then in about 95-ish, I go to the doctor. I'm like, this just isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
And he goes, there's this amazing medication that just came out for cancer patients that's extended release that I think is going to help you. And that's the first time I got prescribed Oxycontin.
Wow.
Oxycontin 40s, 1 a day.
Wow. Yeah.
And you know what? That's when it was that feeling of, wow,
Yeah.
I have no pain. I have clarity. And I felt like I could do anything.
Yeah.
And at that point is when I believe I was extremely addicted then.
What's interesting is you hear, as you're sharing your story here really quick, and I think people who have been through addiction can relate. It's like you've been in pain constantly for a long time. And then all of a sudden you take this Oxycontin that you're talking about, and like you said, all of a sudden it's gone. And no wonder people go, you know what? I want more of this because I don't want to feel what I was feeling for years.
Right.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And, us being tall, I'm tall in my torso.
Yeah.
So everywhere I bend, my lower back, it's, getting in and out of a car, just those things become difficult. Getting out of bed, difficult. It's almost like I'd have to get into the shower and have the hot water hit my back to warm it up.
Yeah, to warm it up, yeah.
Wow. So, Oxycontin, I'm like, great. The copay with insurance is cheap. Well, cancer patients, it must be great.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then, I'm taking that for a few years. And I would say during the first 4 or 5 years of my addiction, have somewhat a little bit of control, and I'm following directions.
Right.
I'm still, showing up for my family. I'm showing up to work. Like nothing's really out of control yet. And then I would say about the 6 years into my addiction, and my addiction went for 13 years. Probably about the 6th year, I started buying them on the streets. I started going to my doctor saying I need more, and he'd give me more. And then he'd give me muscle relaxers. And then I got Xanax. So I had this cocktail of and I'm a master manipulator.
Yeah, right.
I really am. And when I'm in my addiction, like all of us, we get what we need.
For sure.
We find a way to make that happen. And it just, more and more Oxycontin.
Yeah.
And then, then I'm lying about things. And then I'm buying them on the streets. I'm buying them from drug dealers, right? And this goes on for a few more years. And then I start wrecking cars. I start overdosing. I start lying. I start borrowing money from friends. I start going to the check places or the title loans and getting money at 300% interest.
Jeez.
And it just started getting really bad. I would like to back up a little bit.
Yeah.
At the age of 25, when all of this was kind of starting, I looked up my real dad. And I think this is also a pivotal part of all of this emotionally. And I remember going to see him, and he opened the door and pulled a gun. And he pulled the trigger, and it didn't go off.
Did he? But did he know it was you?
He knew it was me. Yeah.
He really was going to shoot you.
Yeah. He was a drug addict too.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think it really, it kind of messed me up a little bit.
Well, how could that not? I mean, because what's the message he's sending to you? I don't care about you at all. I'd rather you just be dead. That had to have been a heavy, heavy day for you.
Yeah. And there's a movie that's supposed to be coming out that it's been working on for 3 years called A Seat for Everyone, in my life story. is in that, and they have actors
wow.
that played, all the car wrecks and all the overdoses and things that addiction brings, and the pain, the pain it brings to the families, right?
Right.
We don't understand that during the time.
Right.
But, 6-7 years into my addiction, then I start going through those nasty withdrawals. So then I'm calling in sick, right? Missing work, getting fired, kind of the things that come through it. And my wife the whole time, she's like, well, if it's prescribed, how can you become an addict? The knowledge and the education at the time is our primary care physician is giving you this.
Yeah.
They're tracking it.
Should be fine.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
And at one point I told her, I says, honey, I think I'm addicted. And she's like, what? I said, I get really, really sick when I don't have them. I feel like I'm going to die. You can't move. You don't want to do anything,
Yeah.
And then during this time, we have a couple more kids. And I'm just continuing to make horrible decisions, money-wise, job-wise, drug-wise, right? And my wife's sticking by me and, doing that.
But I would imagine, is your wife like noticing now though that boy, this is an issue?
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
Yeah. And she's, we say normie, but she's not a normie. You know what I mean?
I know.
But I think she's drank once in her life.
Yeah.
It just not, wasn't her
thing.
No, it wasn't her thing at all. And at this point, I'm just abusing pills.
Wow.
Getting money from my mother-in-law, getting money from friends, I'll pay you back. I'll do this and that. And this is when she starts noticing, because at some point it just all starts to unravel.
Right.
The family is aware more than we think, and our kids are aware more than we think.
Yep.
So, my son, growing up, I think when he was about the age of 6 or 7, this is when things started getting really bad. I was probably 8 years into my addiction somewhat. And I remember stealing his birthday money.
Wow.
And then telling him he lost it so I could go buy pills,
Okay, this is important. This happens all the time. We hear this a lot in addiction. I mean, logically, you would never do that.
No.
Ever.
No.
When you were doing it at the time, and I know I'm asking you to remember back then, were you like going, man, I know this is wrong. This feels, I shouldn't be doing this, but you just keep going with it? Or did you just not even care at all?
No, so, when we're stuck in our addiction, like we do not like who we are.
Right.
But it's like we do not have the ability to not get what we need because of that fear of withdrawal.
Yeah.
It's such a fearful thing, and it's such a miserable thing where people would rather die.
Yeah.
It's horrible to go through. And, I had got up to the point where I was taking 400 milligrams of Oxycontin a day.
Wow.
I mean, it just got, because I was getting it from everyone.
Yeah.
And then during about the 8-year mark with my son, I was also going to a methadone clinic. So I was getting methadone.
Wow.
Because I thought that would help.
Yeah.
And, during these times, and you might recall, like, we're just not happy with who we are, but we have no idea how to stop.
Yep.
I wasn't out partying. Like, mine was all taking place within the home of what seemed to be a normal family.
Man.
And, at the 8-year, 9-year mark, we've got, now we have 3 kids, but during that time, my son and my daughter seemed to always be gone when events were taking place. And, I drove a lot. I'll be honest, and I put my kids in horrible positions. I put other people on the road in horrible positions, but I couldn't think logically.
Yeah.
It just wasn't it. I remember coming home in my truck from getting food, and I drove into the driveway, into the garage, and all the kids' bikes and the neighbor kids' bikes were in the garage on the ground, and I drove over the top of all of them. Just not even knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah. That far out, didn't know. Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So things just kept kind of going like that. I remember in our Dodge Durango, almost running into somebody and swerving off the road, and my daughter was with me, and we hit a boulder, and I drove it home and had an excuse. Always had good excuses.
Right.
Somebody else's fault.
Someone else's fault.
And God, this just went on for years, just for years, you know?
Yeah. So did your kids notice as well? I mean, obviously they're more aware than what we know or what we realize.
Yeah.
But you know, your kids are younger, I guess I'm assuming at this point. But are the older ones the oldest noticing that something's off with dad?
My son was affected the most.
Okay.
So he was like 13, 12
yeah,
when I got sober.
Very aware
Yeah. So he's very aware. And I wasn't physically abusive, but I was mentally abusive. I yelled a lot. Like I made a lot of horrible mistakes, and I own that. And you know, we've done a great job to work through those things, but you have to be open to listen to through their eyes, because you know their reality is their reality, and you have to get to a place where you know you work through those. And you know, as my addiction kept going, I kept wrecking cars, overdosed on Xanax, went up in the hospital, didn't know how it was for 3 days, and it didn't stop me, right? And I think the last job, this is about the 10-year mark of my addiction, I got off work. I ran call centers during kind of this time, off and on with my jobs, but I had a tie on. I was out of drugs, and I was just like withdrawing, and you know, went into the ER of a Pioneer Hospital, 2 a.m, asking for drug. You know, my back hurts, because I could always use that excuse.
Yeah,
you could pull up anything, and you can see he does have a back issue.
He's got a back problem.
And I'm in there. I'm in the ER in one of the beds for like an hour, and I just have this weird feeling coming over me. Like it's just odd. There's no one here. It's weird. Sure enough, undercover DEA agent walks in a doctor outfit and handcuffs me to the bed and told me I was arrested for doctor shopping. Because, as I'd mentioned, I had probably 6 or 7 doctors I was going to. And then I was filling them all at the same pharmacy.
Wow.
And I had over 9,000 pills in 1 year filled.
9,000? Yeah. Did you guys hear that? 9,000 pills. I mean, just that alone, it's amazing you didn't die.
Yeah.
I mean, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just thought I was so good at it.
Yeah.
I was just going to keep going.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm getting away with it. Everything's working out.
You know, insurance. I didn't know about like Doppel or whatnot that
Right.
you kind of come up on. I learned all about that. But yeah, I got arrested and taken down and booked.
Again, where were you again when they arrested
Pioneer
you?
Valley.
Okay.
Emergency room. Yeah. Where I was born.
Well, that's ironic, right?
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, that had to have been a shock at the same time. Like, whoa.
Yeah, I was just like, oh man, you know, like what now?
Yeah.
And I spent probably, you know, it wasn't a long time, a day in jail or whatever. I didn't have a big record, so I got let out on my own recognizance or whatnot. But I remember all these jail cells, there were all this, you know, the plexiglass all open, and they put us all in one. There's like 30 of us in one in our orange jumpsuits and sandals. Can't sit down, and you're standing there, and you know, I think it's to get the point across of where you're at, right?
Yeah.
So I remember getting out, and I had to go check in with the courts, and you know, find out, you know, I couldn't hire a lawyer, didn't have any money, and things like that, and started getting court dates. And during this time, I'm still using.
Yeah.
I'm still doing my thing, right?
Oh man.
And I think for a couple years, my court thing went on and on and on. I was, you know, I got a different lawyer, a different judge, and you know, every time I'd show up, I was using though, right? It was just I wasn't in a good place. And
how did your wife react to you getting arrested?
She was embarrassed.
Yeah.
But again, I was good at just kind of turning it around. We have 3 kids.
Yeah.
She's the only one working at the time, paying bills, holding the house together, while I'm just kind of imploding, right?
Yeah, right.
And so we go back and forth, and I'm still doing what I'm doing. And, you know, 12 years in, my wife and I get in a fight. And my outlet, for some reason, I don't know why, when I was using, was always just throw all my crap in the back of a car or whatever, and I'm heading to Wendover. Like, I don't know what the thought process was there, you know. But went out there, and I remember gambling a little bit. Got back in my truck. And, of course, I'd been using, and took a wrong direction and fell asleep at the wheel, went off a bridge, the viaduct, and truck caught on fire. The airbag went off, broke my sternum, and a guy pulled me out. Saved my life, right? I didn't get a DUI. I just got like reckless driving ticket.
Wow.
And then friends came and got me. And I do remember driving home too. Like I'm in the back seat drinking whiskey the whole time. Like, that was my go-to if I didn't have anything. I needed to feel numb.
Yeah.
So went back and tried to explain that again. Right, here we go, something else. And
so even that, where you almost die, some guy saved your life. You're drinking whiskey right after that on the way home.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I'm withdrawing. I didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want to feel. Right. I'm heading home to just a bunch of craziness. And
Man.
Go home, and it just keeps going. And by this time, over the years, my wife and I just became like roommates.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it wasn't a healthy relationship.
Right, yeah.
There was nothing healthy about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just there. I wasn't mentally there for the kids, for her, to support her. She was holding everything together and still going back and forth to court. Nothing's happening. And then my 13th year, a year after the truck accident, I had gotten so I called and said I needed a refill so I was going to another doctor, a refill of Xanax. My doctor calls it in, and I go to the pharmacy. I had a new prescription, and I had one more refill that was sitting there. I don't know how they got through this or how they didn't notice this, but they gave me 240. So I had 220 bottles of Xanax.
You got to be kidding me.
For $10, like my $5 copay each or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And if you're in your addiction, you're like, oh, yeah.
You just hit the jackpot.
Right?
Yeah.
My wife and I relationship was horrible. And I do know, and there's not a lot I remember. There's pieces about this, but it was a Thursday. And we were I was waiting. I think she was just waiting for me to die. Every time I left. I mean, that's the reality of this. She was waiting for a knock on the door. Ulcers,
right.
Sick, just the havoc that it's played on her and then the kids. But I had taken all 240 of them in like a 4-day period, which is the truth. I mean, that I remember.
Yeah.
Taking them all. And we got in a big fight, and it was like April 19th of 2009. So what do? I hop into my car, take off to Wendover again, right? I remember feeling sleepy, so I rolled the window down, cranked the music up. I guess I fell asleep at the wheel and rolled the car a bunch of times. I was doing like 120, the cruise control on, and Jaws of Life had to come take me out of the car. I remember a glimpse in the ambulance. And then this is where my life changed. Went to the hospital in in Tooele, the main hospital there. And I remember being in the ER and I'm looking down at myself. And I get smacked in the back of the head. And I look over and there's this figure. And he looks at me, and excuse my language,
it's okay.
But I just have to repeat it the way it was said to me.
No, please.
He goes, "Are you fucking done?" I'm looking down. They're cutting my shirt off, and they're putting paddles on me. And I could tell that they were it was like they were waiting for him to like move forward. It was weird. It was my guardian angel.
Like waiting for your response back to the...
Yeah. He's like, "Are you done?" Because you got, and this is where, and I talk about this a lot, you got 3 options because I'm exhausted, Travis. Right? 1, if you're done, I'll let you die on the table. 2, if you keep going the way you're going, you're going to kill somebody and you're going to end up in prison. Or the 3rd choice is you're going to live and you're going to change your life and find recovery. And I chose recovery. And
wow, what an experience.
Yeah. When people would talk about out-of-body experience, I'd never believe them. But it changed the direction of my life.
So you have this experience, out-of-body experience. You have this conversation with your guardian angel, and then you go back into your body, I'm assuming, at that point, right? Yeah. And then when you come to and wake up from this, obviously did you vividly in that moment remember what you just went through with your guardian angel?
Yeah.
And is that when you're like, okay,
yeah, I'm
it's
done.
time to get done?
Yeah. And then
wow, that's amazing.
The next day, which is 4/20, right? I guess I walked out of the hospital without them wanting me to, and they had my ID, everything. And I remember walking down on that main street in Tooele to this little car dealership and said, I had an accident, whatnot, I need to get home. Can you give me a ride? And they gave me a ride to my house. All my belongings were in the garage. The police were there waiting for me. And my wife had finally hit that part where she's like, you're killing us too.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to die. What are you doing? And I didn't say nothing because I was like, she's right. I've done this. I've created this.
It's hard to argue
this
that.
is all me.
Yeah.
No one is, made me do this. I just became an addict and I didn't know how to stop. I didn't have the tools. I didn't know what to do. I had suffered a lot of pain as a child that I didn't know about. I didn't understand about.
Right.
My best friend, Matt, picked me up, went to his house, stayed there for 2 weeks. I never had any withdrawals in 2 weeks. I can't explain it. I had morphine in my body. I had Oxycontin. I had Xanax. And then my wife had been reaching out to treatment centers. I didn't know anything about treatment centers. I'd gone to detox 4 or 5 times at, LDS. And they give you Suboxone and you kind of go on.
Send you on your way. Yeah.
And then I got a meeting set up with my bishop and my stake president because I didn't have any funds. I didn't have any money at the time. And I remember sitting down and my stake president going, there's nothing I wouldn't do to help you save your soul. And I remember that vividly. And I, after 2 weeks, it was a waiting period. And once I got accepted into the place I went, the Ark, I spent 95 days there. And it changed my life. I found my place with God. I found out what spirituality was. I worked through my issues. And I remember after my first 30 days, I had a visit with the family. And I remember my 2 girls holding onto my legs saying, don't go back in, don't go back in. I knew I wasn't done. They're like, come home.
Please come home.
Come
we
home.
miss you. Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm going to do this once. I'm going to do it right. And once I heal, then we're going to work on everyone else. So when I got out and sober, my license was suspended for 6 months for reckless driving again.
Yeah.
And I just spent a lot of time with my kids. And, but the thing is with recovery is it's not always perfect and it's not supposed to be.
Right, yeah.
I couldn't find a job for 6 months. I got turned down for 22 jobs because I had a record. I had drug charges.
Yeah.
And so here I am trying to stay sober. I can't provide for my family. Now I'm ready.
Yeah.
So I'm like having a lot of conversations with God. Like, okay, what now? What am I doing? What's next?
Yeah.
Finally got a job at Delta Airlines making minimum wage, and I was extremely happy and showing up and coached my son's high school basketball team and
right on.
Started doing that. But I was healing, right? I was healed. So it went from poor Nancy dealing with this to now Travis is doing well, right? But they weren't healing.
Yeah.
They hadn't worked through their issues.
Yeah,
so the thing with people in early recovery or whatnot is we can't keep getting thrown under the bus because it doesn't help our recovery.
Right.
We've made amends. We've worked through it. But when you haven't healed, it's what you do.
Yep.
So my wife and I did some work together. And then we split up for a year or 2. Filed for divorce. I signed the papers, right?
Wow.
And then, her mom died and her brother took his own life, and it kind of brought us back together.
Wow.
And then we did some serious work with the kids, work with everybody, because I believe that everyone, need to do their own therapy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then 5 years into my recovery, got offered a job at a treatment center, being a tech, and they're like, "We welcome your record."
Yeah.
That's your education.
Care. Exactly.
And been doing that ever since. And then a few years ago, got my record expunged. The same lawyer I hired to help me with my legal issues helped me expunge my record.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I did, and I finally went back to court, and when I was in treatment, And they put me on 18 months of AP&P probation and pay a $1,200 fine. And yeah.
And here we are doing amazing things now.
It's unbelievable.
That story is incredible, Travis. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot more to the story, but I want to get into, you go through this process, and I love that you and your wife have made it through all of this, and that you have a relationship with your kids again that you want, which is, and I'm really happy for your whole family. So shout out to your family there. I'm really proud of you for doing all this, but just grateful that you guys stuck it out, and hats off to your wife. Right?
Yeah.
You said she's a saint.
Absolutely.
Right. You've mentioned a couple things, and I know this is kind of a big question, but just, how is like God, a higher power, been a big part of, where you're at right now? Like, if you don't mind sharing that, because I know that's a very personal question, but I know that means a lot to you.
Well, and I also, what my relationship with God has gotten a lot more. I understand more now since I got in recovery, because I used to be angry a little bit, going, okay, I'm doing the work. I can't get a job. I can't do all this other stuff. And I had recovery envy from other people, that everything seemed to fall into place in the first 6 months.
Right.
Mine was like 5 years in. I was being guided to a different path, and I truly believe it was to help people to get what I have. Right.
Yeah.
So my relationship with God today is, I talk a lot. I say the serenity prayer a lot. It's very, it takes care of any anxiety or any, frustrations I have, and I trust him. Yeah. Like, I know I'm in a position now because of God, and my relationship with him is very personal.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be here without him.
Yeah.
Like, he gave me, I don't want to say second chance. It's like second, right? I mean,
we have a million second chances, right?
Yeah, to do the right thing. And I believe God puts people and things and places or whatever into my life that just need guidance. And I truly believe that he's continuing to make me, the best husband, the best father, and the best role model that I can be in the recovery industry as well.
Yeah.
So I just never take that for granted.
Love it. As you're saying this to me, one of the things I tell my clients all the time, addiction is the wake-up call to your greatness. It's kind of like when you got slapped in the head. Hey, what are you doing here? What are you going to do? What are you choosing?
Yeah.
It's time to choose.
Hello.
It's time to really go which direction you're going to go in your life. But look what you're doing now. You're doing all these great things. You're helping so many people. And it really did. It woke you up to how great you really are, Travis. You're such a great person. You do interventions, right? And talk about what that is, and why did you go that direction? Just curious on that.
So, in the industry, we've always, everything we do is kind of an intervention.
Right.
Yeah. That first call you get from the family that's having, like we once were in, that panic that they're going to lose a loved one.
Yeah.
So I've been doing those for years. And in 2020, when the earthquake hit here, the pandemic hit, my wife's at home, the kids are home, I had some time on my hands, and I said, you know what? I'm finally going to put pieces in place. I'm going to get my business license. I'm going to create a website, and I'm going to create living recovery interventions, not for my main focus right now, but to have that, to be able to be, licensed, insured, certified, because my true passion is going into a family crisis and making everybody feel good.
Yeah.
Like, offering the loved one that needs the help, the treatment, but then also offering the families their direction on recovery, because if they don't do the work, I caused a lot of destruction in our family's life, and it was not anyone's fault except me and my disease.
Yeah.
I created it. I own that.
For sure.
But I want to come in and help others know that, what that person's done is not your fault. You're not a bad parent. You're not a bad, this is just the disease is taking over there.
Yeah. I love that, because again, what you've been through was your education.
Yeah.
And you can sit down with these families and they're going to listen to you because of what you've been through.
Yeah.
Like, well, he's been through this. So let's listen to Travis, and I'm sure that plays a huge part. And again, that's also what fuels your passion in helping other people. You're also one of the business development directors at Akasha Recovery.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm a partner there. We're just a 6-bed res detox, full
Oh,
detox in Cardiff, California, and just like 20 minutes from San Diego by the ocean. And we're just doing really good substance abuse.
Yeah.
You know, a little co-occurring, but not a true mental health program.
Oh, gotcha.
More substance abuse.
Love it.
And a lot of, 6 beds is just so great because there's a lot of one-on-one time. There's a lot of time for people to heal and kind of just get that passion back in life like I did in treatment.
Yeah.
I learned to laugh. I always tell them when I see them, if you don't cry and if you don't yell and you don't laugh when you're in treatment, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
You should be doing all those. And my goal is for you to do it one time and not ever have to do it again.
Yeah.
Do it right.
Yeah, do it right. I love that.
Yeah.
Good. That's a good philosophy. Yeah, it's, like here we're always saying, if you're not uncomfortable, you're not putting in the work.
Yeah.
If this feels like day camp to you, you're doing it wrong.
Absolutely.
You should be really uncomfortable, but I love that part. We should also laugh. We've had a few good laughs already.
Yeah.
So you have a nice following on social media. You do this thing called Car Talk with Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us what that is and what is kind of like maybe your mission behind that.
Yeah. So I created that about 5 years ago, and it was my way of just trying to think outside the box at the time. Like, how can I connect with people who are struggling?
Yeah.
It doesn't cost any money.
Yeah.
To create my Facebook page. And
sure, yeah.
I started doing videos, excuse me, with friends that I know that are in recovery.
Yeah.
And I just try to keep it at 5 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And for the first year, I talked about my story and my struggles and what I'm going through. But then it's like, okay, I don't have anything else really to talk about, right?
Right, got to branch out a little bit.
So I started asking friends because they started liking it and watching it. And I'm like, would you want to be on it? And let's just tell your story. Like, do a quick, because there's somebody out there. The goal is to always reach just one person at least.
Yeah, right.
To go, I get this guy.
Yep.
I've been there. I'm hurting. I need to reach out.
Yeah.
Wherever it is to get that help and to connect going, I'm not the only one that feels like this.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I went into treatment, I was like, there's no one like me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one. I'm special, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then I go in and with 25 other people, I'm like,
you're like, what?
You guys are just like me.
Right.
You struggle too? What?
Yeah.
And we become family.
Yeah.
And so the goal is to just get people healing and enjoying life and excelling. And I mean, we're living in a time right now that's ran by social media and fear.
Yeah.
And you throw in addiction during that. I got sober in 2009 when it wasn't like how it is now.
Yeah.
And years ago.
Yeah.
So
this is trying times, in this world, and we need more people like you, Travis, who are doing things like that are really trying to put a positive thing out there. Because we need more of that. There's not enough of it. There's, it's interesting when you look at social media, and again, and people are like, oh, social media, we got to talk about that again. But there is so much on there that isn't good. And it's just a fact, guys. And that's why I love what you're doing, because I think we need more of that. Mm-hmm. Because there's so many people struggling, even those that are putting on a face that everything's fine.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that you're doing that.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
And my daughter shared her story, a little bit of it, She had some relationship issues and, dating, someone who's maybe a narcissist and not treating her the best, and learning what her, worthiness is. And that's, I always try to tell people when I do them, like, I let you know you're worthy, you're worth it, you deserve it.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the 3 things that I always want people to imply, because I did a lot of, mirror work on because I didn't love myself.
Yeah. Wow.
No,
I think that's important. And that's neat that your daughter is willing to talk about that stuff. You've already given some amazing advice, but if there's someone listening to you right now, Travis, who is down and out, they're in a dark place, they've isolated, they just don't know who to talk to, or they don't even think that they can get past whatever they're going through, what would you tell them right now?
You know what? Don't give up and pick up the phone. I mean, that's the hardest thing to do, is pick up the phone.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, give me a call.
Yeah.
You can go to my Car Talk page or go to Living Recovery Interventions. You can message me.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll do what I can to help you.
I love
and one of those things, if I can't help you, I'll at least give you direction on who can.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
No, I love that.
We're all humans, and we're going through, I suffer from depression, and I have my good days, I have my bad days.
Yeah.
you know, but today with my mindset change, I have more good days than bad days.
Yeah. No, that's great.
But it just takes time.
Great advice. So if someone did want to reach out to you, give us your website, and maybe is that the best way to find you is through your website?
Yeah.
And it goes to everything?
Yeah. Living Recovery Interventions.com, and there's a contact me. Has my phone number on it. And then also, you know, there's Akasha Recovery, AKASHA, recovery.com. And then, of course, my Car Talk with Travis page on Facebook. So
yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, I love it.
Good stuff.
I'm blessed to be here with you.
Yeah,
it's amazing to me.
Yeah,
I love it.
I know. It's like pinch yourself, right? Like we get to talk about these things. We're sitting here. We've made it through things. We get to be an influence in people's lives, which is awesome.
And you know, it's one of those things too. I've changed. You know, Dave Cox is a good friend of mine. He was one of my therapists, and he's okay if I say his name. But I remember just tweaking where I got to. He's like, no. You get to.
Yeah.
You get to.
Yeah.
So I use that more and more now. I get to show up. I get to do this. It's not I got to.
Yeah.
So little tweaks like that.
Yeah, I get
really
to talk to Travis today. This is cool.
I love it. I love it. This is awesome.
Well, hey, I can't thank you enough, Travis, for taking time out of your busy schedule and to come share your story with us. And, you know, I know that my listeners are going to be very grateful for your vulnerability and just your will to change yourself and work on not only just you, but the family dynamic through all this. And then again, really impressed with all the good things you're trying to do to help other people. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. And, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I don't plan to ever be perfect. I'll always be under construction.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, every day is just a lesson and learn and, oh, don't do that. It's okay to do that.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to end with one last question for you. What do you love most about you?
That I get to show up every day for my family.
Mic drop. There you go. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
You're awesome, Travis. Thank you so much for your time. Guys, I told you this was going to be another amazing guest, amazing story. Travis Whittaker, guys. Please reach out to him. Check out his website. Check out Car Talk. You know, if you are struggling, if you know someone who's struggling with addiction, please share this episode with them, because sometimes we don't know how to go talk to people. And this is and I've found this out, Travis, this is awesome. Share this, just send them the link to this episode, knowing that they're struggling with addiction, and to say, will you please just listen to this? And that has opened up so many doors for these people who think, oh, thanks for sending that to me. I decided to get help. So send this one, okay? And then call Travis. Please reach out to him, give him a thanks, give him, write a nice note to him, and do whatever you can. But let's celebrate Travis and all the good that he's doing in the world. And I love you guys. And Travis, again, thanks for your time.
Absolutely, Todd. Thank you for
having me. Till next time.